I remember a time when Liberty House did not exist.
The reality was that prior to Liberty House, I think the vast majority of cases required the kids to tell their story too many times.
Children had to talk to several different agency representatives, such as law enforcement or child welfare, or maybe their doctor. When they came to me for the therapy part of it, we first had to address their experience or the trauma or the challenges of talking to so many people about very personal and private things.
It was not uncommon for investigators such as myself, who often worked in more rural areas of the state, to be involved in child abuse investigations and find ourselves in situations where we needed to interview children quickly, and the only opportunities we would have to do that would be either in the child's home, a friend or another relative's home, or sometimes even in our vehicles.
A sibling group had been abused by their grandfather, and these poor kids had to share in an office environment where there were no cubicles, no walls, being seen by others watching them be interviewed while looking at anatomically correct dolls and having to point to certain parts of these dolls and answer questions about where they had been touched or what they had gone through.
People didn't realize how scary it was for children to have to talk about these things.
So we have two issues, really. It's the environment, the physical environment, as well as having to tell the story over and over again.
Prior to Liberty House, I think that all the agencies who work to protect children were doing the very best that they could based on what they had to work with.
And of course, we know that talking about it's never going to be easy for these youth. But the reality is that we can certainly do things that make it easier on them.
Liberty House began with a small group of concerned volunteers, including the district attorney, who was seeing too many child abuse cases and not enough resources to serve those children.
They thought, what if we could coordinate our investigations? What if we could coordinate so that it would be easier on the family and easier on the child?
And having so many different disciplines and people around the table with ideas about how to get there was really important in being able to come up with a place and a process that would work well for a number of different agencies.
I was very happy when Liberty House opened because I knew it would be so much easier for children.
When we're asked to see a child, we ask ourselves, who is this child? What's their environment like? What do they need? And how do we get there?
They provide a really structured and coordinated approach to assessing abuse and neglect.
We have the luxury of being able to give children all of our attention and give them just as much time as they need.
As the process unfolds, they participate in both a medical examination and a forensic interview.
Interviews are done by people who it's their job on a regular basis, day in and day out, to do those kinds of assessments.
There's space to build rapport, there's space to get to know the child, there's space for the child to ask us questions as well.
The team will meet briefly, and then they'll sit down with the parent or caregiver, and they'll go through their recommendations and their findings.
The team members prepare a very detailed written report that is shared with partner agencies who are also part of the process of helping kids and families stay safe. And
As a community surrounding a child to give them hope that they're going to be okay.
Liberty House has always done a great job being a great partner to our team.
the communication and the working together part of it is really a key to the success of Liberty House and to the success of everybody that works in the field of child protection.
The work that Liberty House does is pulls together the end result of what multiple other people would be doing at different times and creates a concise professional package that can be used by a number of professionals.
In law school, they don't teach you how to talk to kids. You're not given a class on how to do a direct examination on sexual assault for children. And so, as a young prosecutor, I learned a ton from Liberty House.
All of the partners have better information and more complete information, so they can make better decisions. When Liberty House first opened, it was 100% improvement on what we had before. That was 15 years ago. Now, not only has the need grown, but the risks have increased exponentially.
In the past decade, calls of abuse and neglect, reports of abuse and neglect have doubled statewide. The need for Liberty House to interview kids who truly have been abused and neglected is also growing.
Liberty House was set up to see 2 children a day, one in the morning, one in the afternoon. But there's more coming in and there's no place to schedule them.
Basically, Liberty House has been successful to the point that it's outgrown the current facility.
Anytime we're not able to make an appropriate and thorough assessment on a child is one child too many.
We can serve a lot more children, and we need to be able to focus on a plan to get that done.
One of the goals of Liberty House and of the board is to obtain additional property to expand the physical location in order to see more children.
Multiple exam rooms versus one. It allows to have multiple interview spaces versus having one.
When we have the new building, we will have the ability to see more children, to meet more families' needs.
Our team recommends mental health support for over 95% of the cases that we see here. Right now, we are only able to hand the family a list of phone numbers to call.
What we would like to be able to do is to strengthen the handoff to the mental health community so that we have a seamless way for kids to receive the services that they need.
So Liberty House truly provides children with an ability to begin the healing process from trauma that they've experienced by being able to share in a safe way with people that they can build a rapport with and trust with, and then begin the process of healing and moving on from that situation.
And some children have told me that since they've told their secret and they don't have to hang on to it anymore, they feel like their heart is now free.
I believe that the services that this facility provides does nothing but to improve not only the lives of these children that are infected, but the livability of the entire community.
Liberty House, when it started, really appropriately addressed the needs of the community at the time. What we need to recognize is that the needs of the community have really changed. And in order for us to remain strong, we need to change with it.
Another child told me that her heart was just too tired of holding on to the secret.
We need to be ready to see kids if they need to see us.